Lots of people dream about moving to Spain, the sunshine, the beaches, the slower pace of life. But the truth? The first few weeks were a roller coaster. In this video, I'm taking you through what really happened during our first 30 days, what shocked us, what we loved, and what nearly sent us straight back to the UK. And I'll be answering all your questions that you've been asking me over the last few weeks. So if you're planning the move or still daydreaming about it, save this video and hit follow or subscribe. I think this will really help. And make sure to stick around because I'll be sharing the biggest mistake we made that cost us time, money, and a bit of sanity. We didn't move for a holiday. We moved for a new life. The first few days felt like a dream. Coffee in the square, beach mornings with the kids, everything slower and warmer. But then came the real stuff. Finding the town hall, ayuntamiento, with Google Translate open on my phone, realising we couldn't register with a doctor without 3 different appointments and 10 pieces of paper, no joke. Not knowing how the bins worked in our area. Some of you asked, is it really that different from a holiday? Yeah, when you're living here, everything is your responsibility, not just your pleasure. It's beautiful, but it's a lot. When you're on holiday, it's all about relaxation. Maybe taking a trip to the beach or the pool, taking your time to get out of bed if maybe you had a few too many vinos the night before, going down for breakfast, and just enjoying time off work. But of course, when you're living here, you've got all of the day-to-day stuff that you would normally have to sort out if you were living in your home country. Getting the kids to school, getting ready for your working day, thinking about all the meals that you'll need to cook for your family. What's everybody going to eat for the next few days? Childcare, and all the other stuff that goes with family life. Quick tip, if you're still watching and you haven't hit subscribe yet, do that now. These real life insights are what most people don't tell you, and we've got a whole series coming. We had a short list of areas before we moved, but being there in person changed everything. We ended up renting first, which I highly recommend, by the way. Somebody asked, is it better to rent or buy? Well, with renting, it gives you time to settle, explore, and understand how you really live day to day. The housing market is very localised. Don't rely on websites alone. Walk the streets, ask around, use Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups. Another of you said we had such a bad estate agent, we had to demolish our house. Extreme? Yes, but these stories are real and preventable. What renting does is it gives you time to feel the area that you've decided to live in without burning all your bridges. Buying a house in Spain can be quite complicated. You need to put your trust in people here locally who understand and know the legal system, pay them to do that for you, and it could still go wrong. I've seen lots of horror stories about this. Now, I'm not saying don't buy at all. I'm just saying make sure that you are really sure about the area that you've picked. Because you never know. You might decide that it's a different part of Spain, or a different country, or maybe actually you want to go back to your home country. And renting provides you with much more flexibility than buying a house straight away. I get that that's the UK mentality, and maybe that's something you do in the longer term. But in the short term, renting gives you options. We knew Spain was known for bureaucracy. I've lived here before. I've lived through the paperwork. But knowing it and living it are two different things. And post-Brexit is a whole different story. The first time I moved was pre-Brexit, and the second time was post-Brexit. The first time I moved to Spain, it was so much more straightforward. I booked my plane ticket and arrived, and I stayed for a year. There was no need to have loads of different paperwork and worry about whether I was outstaying my welcome legally. Post-Brexit, we've had to do so much more, and there's 4 of us now. It isn't just me this time. We've had to apply for visas, amongst other things. We needed our padrón, which is your town hall registration to apply for schools, doctors, register the car. But to get that, we needed proof of address, which required a rental contract, which needed a bank account. And the bank wanted the padron to open the account. Honestly, you couldn't make this stuff up. You feel like you're going around in one big circle of paperwork. One of you said, despite having computers, everything needs to be written in triplicate. Yep, that is exactly it. But you learn to play the game. You get appointments. You bring every document that they could possibly want, plus copies. And always expect one no, at least one no, before you hear a yes. In fact, I soon learnt that my first trip to wherever I was going, whether it was the police station or the town hall or the doctors, wouldn't be the last trip. It was almost a test to see, have I brought the right documents and paperwork, or are you going to need something else from me? And normally it was the latter. But I think if you can accept that and be okay with it, then you'll be fine. The other thing that I did was, instead of spending loads of time finding places that could make copies for me, waiting till they were open because they closed between 2 and 5, and spending loads of money on them copying the stuff for me, I invested in a printer. And I have to say that it was one of the best investments that I've made so far. On Amazon, you can buy them for €50. You can buy ink subscriptions quite easily, and paper is super cheap. It's like €5 for a pack of A4. One of my top tips, buy a printer. If this already sounds familiar or helpful, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know what stage of the move you're at. Top question across TikTok and Facebook has been, what do you do for work? I actually did a reel on this last week, and the answer to that is we run online businesses. That was the only way that this move was possible for us. I previously I was employed in a corporate environment and I loved that, but it just wasn't going to be possible here because we also needed a visa. So we set up online businesses. My husband already had that to allow us to apply for the digital nomad visa, and I set up my own business online before we came, and that allowed us to make the move. And that is the only way that this move was possible for us as a family with young children who need to earn money. The second most common question, is it hard to get a visa post-Brexit? The short version, yes, it's harder, but it's not impossible. You do need a visa if you're coming from the UK. You've got the digital nomad visa, the non-lucrative visa, or the self-employment route could work for you. It depends on your situation. I've just recorded a series of visa videos that will be going out next week. The first one will be on Monday. So make sure that you have hit follow so that you can see those coming through every day. One person said that their brother has been trying for 2 years. That's not uncommon, but others have done it faster. It took us 10 months from deciding that we wanted to move to Spain to actually being here. The key is knowing which route suits you and preparing early, or deciding which one you're going to go for and then make changes to your life to work towards it. It will not just happen by itself. It takes a lot of hard work and determination. If you're still watching, hit save on this video so you can come back to it when you start your own process. And I've linked the free visa guide in the description to help you figure out where to start. School was probably one of the biggest stresses. We didn't know the system, the process, or the language well enough. I knew Spanish, but everything here is in Catalan, where we live. A few of you asked, do the kids need to speak Spanish first? The answer to that is no, but they'll be immersed from day one. It's intense, but also incredibly effective. Ours came home exhausted and overwhelmed, but slowly more confident, and now they speak 2 more languages. Somebody else asked, what if I don't speak the language? Will I feel isolated? Yes, at first, even if you do speak the language. But it gets easier, and every interaction teaches you something. And the more you lean into it, the more people open up. Build your community as quickly as you possibly can through Facebook groups and social activities. Don't expect to learn the language overnight. It can take years to communicate properly and connect with people in that new language. So build your community with people that you can speak to from day one to limit that feeling of isolation, because it is hard. One of my favourite comments was, "It's not a holiday, it's life." Exactly. The magic isn't in the big things, it's in the little things. Finding the best bread at your local bakery, getting a nod from the person in the local shop who recognises you now and says hello when you walk in. We're not tourists anymore. We're part of something. And it's not always easy, but it is so worth it. If you're nodding along or imagining this life for yourself, share this with someone who's dreaming of Spain too. So that was our first 30 days. Beautiful, exhausting, exciting, and full of growth. In the next episode, I'll cover how healthcare works, how we picked the right area for our family, and what's actually affordable here. If this helped you, subscribe, share, and drop your questions below. I'm using them to shape the next videos. And if you want a simple guide to visas or moving with the kids, the link in my bio has free resources to help you get started. Thanks for watching. Y que vaya bien.